Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. Let's do AEW All Out 2021 predictions. My excitement for this show, minimal. I'm not a huge fan of AEW, but I would be a liar if I didn't say there weren't matches on this show that I really am looking forward to seeing. Got to be honest. So, we're going to go through the card, give you my thoughts, predictions, and then we're going to see where it all lays out. The 21-woman Casino Battle Royal for a future title shot. It said here it will be on the buy-in, but it will not. It will be on the main show. So there's been a lot of talk about Ruby Riott, aka Ruby Soho, debuting. Lana will probably also debut in this match. I don't think that'll dictate the winner. I don't think Ruby just comes in and wins this thing. To me, I don't know who you can pick to win. I don't see anybody outside of Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa being a credible women's wrestler on AEW anyway. Jade Cargill is very well pushed, and she seems to have a decent to good fan base as far as people who actually care about her. But she's not ready for a title shot. So my guess is going to be Thunder Rosa. That's what I'm going to go with. I'm guessing Thunder Rosa is going to win the 21-woman Battle Royal. It probably will have Ruby in it. It probably will have Lana in it. But I would not be surprised if Thunder Rosa wins. I think the money is in Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker reigniting their feud simply because you don't have anything else as far as AEW's women's division is concerned. Paul White versus QT Marshall. I think we can all agree that this match is going to be awful and that it's not anything anybody wants to see. Paul White is going to win. Heaven help me. Heaven help me. I may have to go get some food, It might be shawarma season again, messing around with this Big Show stuff. I need some comfort food. I might need to make some lentil soup. Next match, Satoshi Kojima versus Jon Moxley. I feel bad for Kojima because I saw him on Twitter saying basically like a lot of people were disappointed that he was chosen, and he saw the disappointment. And I know he feels bad. I was disappointed because we were teasing Tanahashi. And, don't tease Tanahashi and we're not going to get Tanahashi. That's the thing. I still think Kojima is more of a TV opponent. Moxley is going to win. This match is going to be little to nothing. It's going to be overblown by people who love New Japan. But ultimately, it's not going to be anything special. And the average person isn't going to care. You could have just done this on TV. Next match. A TNT Championship. Miro the Redeemer versus Eddie Kingston. This match is going to be fun. I don't see any reason why Miro should drop the title. They haven't done a good job of building up good opponents for Miro. He's just been bulldozing through people. So this is going to be his first real opponent. And if he loses to his first real opponent, that would be really bad for Miro. He should beat Eddie Kingston. Who should he lose the title to? I have no idea. I think we need to start entertaining the idea that it's possible that he could lose. And maybe building up a single star to beat him. Hopefully somebody that they've been looking forward to breaking through. One of my favorites is Ricky Starks on that train. Another one is Jungle Boy. They're very small though. So I don't know who you have beat Miro, but I don't think Eddie Kingston is that guy. I think Eddie Kingston is great as a contender. AEW Tag Team Championship. The Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks. Okay, this match is going to be, a child playing with their action figures as they jump off the cage and do a double quadruple moonsault off the cage and do all their Simone Biles impressions off the top of the cage, and nothing that will take place in this match will matter. I think more or less, the big thing about this match is when do you put it on? Do you put it on first and likely kill the crowd for 40 minutes? As they do every spectacular thing that doesn't involve selling, it doesn't involve any type of storytelling. Maybe if you put them on first, your first third of the show is going to be really bad. I think you probably put them on right before a Big Show and QT Marshall, because nobody's going to care about that match anyway. So you put this on. If you put it on first, then put Big Show and QT Marshall on next. And I don't think anybody would care. But I think the Lucha Brothers will probably win this match. Of course, this would have been better if it was Jurassic Express, who it seemed like it should have been from the beginning. Unfortunately, we don't have competent storytelling in AEW because it should have been the Lucha, Jurassic Express. Instead, it's the Lucha Express. So, AEW Women's Championship, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD versus Chris Statlander. Statlander is barely promoted. She's barely on the show. There's no reason for her to win. Britt Baker's going to win. She's the golden girl. So my only hope is that Britt Baker does not get injured in this match. Because Statlander, she's a rough one to work with, just like Nyla Rose is. So hopefully Britt Baker can survive and get to, and hopefully she can hold on until some real women's talent gets in AEW. And they won't, she be walking around, like what's the name? She walking around like a crash test dummy, stitched up from top to bottom by the time real competition shows up. So I'm going to go with Baker, of course. Chris Jericho versus MJF. All right, this is, of course, Chris Jericho, a career-threatening match. I don't see Jericho losing. I think this whole thing has been about putting MJF over. And while that's important, I believe so, is it that important to Jericho that he's going to give his career to MJF? But it's also a question of AEW career versus career in general. For instance, is he going to wrestle his last match in AEW? As, Bryan Danielson is about to come in, apparently. As, Bray Wyatt is going to come in, apparently. As CM Punk has showed up. Is Jericho going to forego wrestling those guys just so he could put over MJF and that's it? I think even logically it doesn't make sense. Sure, he's worked with, those guys before, but not to the extent and not at the level he's going to be able to work with them in AEW. He's not going to be, Vince would have never given him the time and the freedom to do what he wanted to do with CM Punk. I think they probably will revisit that, probably at some point in the distant future. But I don't see Jericho just hanging it up just to make his protege look good, Besides, I think at this point, people are just tired of this feud and they want it to be over. I don't even know if the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle are still a thing or not. I haven't even heard the name Pinnacle in forever. So, I don't know. Let's see. CM Punk versus Darby Allen. Okay, and this is a heatless face versus face match. This is just let's see if CM Punk can do it. It's basically an exhibition. Does it really mean anything in the long run? Not really. Darby isn't hurt by losing, but it doesn't make AEW's roster look any good, especially considering he was just a champion. And he's been consistently pushed. Darby Allin is the golden boy of Tony Khan. He is the one guy that they've done the most to try to get over. They've given him a title. They've given him Sting. Now he's going to be the very first guy to work with CM Punk. I mean, imagine if you was in Stanford and you got all of these wonderful privileges. How people would be saying that you're being shoved down people's throats, But, you don't have that sort of discourse around AEW. But I don't think that Darby Allin was win. If Darby Allin were to win, I think it would kill the crowd. So I don't think people like Darby Allin, they don't like him as much as they like CM Punk. So I think you save Darby's life his career, by not having him beat CM Punk. I think Punk goes in there, does a good job selling for him, makes him look credible, really try to work the kid over, make himself look good in the process, of course, and ultimately hit him with a GTS and end this thing. Then maybe they shake hands or something like that afterwards, because AEW does that kind of thing. It would be nice if they did something original in this, and so much as Darby turns heel or something like that, so they can run it back and do it again. And I think that probably would be one of the better options. That's what I would do. I know Darby's the top babyface, but heel and babyface doesn't matter in AEW anyway, considering Britt Baker is one of the most popular wrestlers on the roster, and she's a heel. So people are not going to like Darby Allen less because you turned him heel. But I think you probably need to run this back, you know, and maybe have Darby lose, and then he loses control, and maybe you start building Darby as a heel, and leading to the ultimately to the Darby Sting match. Why not? You know, what else is he doing? If he loses this match, what else are you doing with Darby Allen? He's just gonna, well, I lost to CM Punk, but that's okay because I still got my skateboard. It's like I don't know, man. I think if he loses and he spins out of that with a different mission and a different motivation, it's better for him and it's better for the program, and it actually be something interesting and with some heat, and we could build up of them doing it again. And I think that would be better, you know, because then they could cut promos on each other, and CM Punk could say, like, you know, he was trying to bless him and all that kind of stuff, and then, you know, Darby threw it in his face, and then Darby could say, well, you're doing exactly what you said that, you know, Brock Lesnar and all those guys did. You're coming back and you're taking up top spots for the young guys. You claim you want to help us, but you're stealing from us and all that kind of stuff. They, you know, look at how many shows that we've had in Chicago just for you. That kind of thing. Like, the company is now catering to CM Punk, and you turn him heel. Fuck it. Do it. Let's go. Let's do something to make this interesting. Instead of it just being, I like this guy. Well, I like you too. That fucking sucks. That sucks. All right, main event. Kenny Omega defends the AEW World Championship versus Christian Cage. Now, I'm going to be honest. I don't think this match will be close the show. I think CM Punk and Darby Allin will close the show. Mainly because I think that CM Punk's first match back will likely be the bigger draw. And it seems to be, that's why they gave away Christian Cage and Kenny Omega on TV, is this is not going to be the pay-per-view debut main event. And I think rightfully so, CM Punk and Darby Allin should close the show. So, obviously, Kenny Omega is going to win. That's another reason why this match ain't going to close the show. So, Impact's world title is going to take an L. Another one. My idea was what they ought to do, which is make it title for title and have Kenny Omega win the Impact title back. And that probably would have been better. But since Impact has booked title matches for Christian Cage after this event, you know, like I think the Victory Road thing with him and Ace Austin won't actually air until the 14th of September or something like that. So, you know, he has to still be champion then. So that means he has to lose this match as the Impact World Champion. So all those people who are telling me that, oh, Impact and AEW, they're all working together. You know, no, they're not. AEW is forcing Impact to clean up its shit. You know, it's like the human and the dog, right? Is the dog, you know, the master, because you're cleaning up after it, you're feeding him, he's just running around in circles, you know? So, you know, and you're just like, okay, it barks when you come home, but that's about it. But you're the one cleaning up the shit. You're the one spending a bunch of money on food and water and finding people to groom them and all that kind of stuff. So that's the kind of situation AEW and Impact is having, where Impact is like walking this dog and then having to pick up the shit from behind it, you know, and swears to God the dog loves them. So I don't know about that. But Christian ain't winning that title. I can tell you that much. Kenny Omega dyed his hair black. It looks weird. He's weird. All this is too much. I just wish they hadn't. I'm actually glad they did the match already, but I'm also not happy that they did the match already. You know, so it's a weird position to be in. All right, so that's the entire card. We'll go through this card again. The 21-woman Casino Battle Royal, I picked Thunder Rosa. Paul White versus QT Marshall, I go with Big Show. Satoshi Kojima versus John Moxley, I'm going with John Moxley. Miro versus Eddie Kingston, I'm going to go with Miro. Young Bucks, Lucha Brothers, I'm going to go with the Lucha Brothers. Britt Baker versus Chris Statlander, I'm going to go with Britt Baker. MJF versus Chris Jericho, I'm going to go with Chris Jericho. CM Punk versus Darby Allen, I'm going to go with CM Punk. Kenny Omega versus Christian Cage, I will be going with Kenny by God Omega. And I do believe Bryan Danielson will debut on this show at some point. Just, especially if the crowd is dead. I think that they'll definitely bring him out there. I think he's been available for a while. I've heard a lot of talks about, whether somebody like him is going to show up or not. I think so. Will there be any other quote unquote surprises? I don't know. I think that if Bryan Danielson shows up here, you'll probably hear some, I think people expect it, but I also think that they want to do it again. Do what they did with CM Punk again and basically tease and tease and tease. And then in New York or maybe afterwards, maybe even a Dynamite after this, have Bryan Danielson debut on TNT, the Papa rating. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe Danielson won't show up. I talked myself out of it. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your predictions in the comment section below, and I'll talk to you guys later.